Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So this week I have a gray blending client. She found me on Instagram and she wanted something that was going to blend a little bit better with her gray. She felt like her old highlights previously, they were getting too yellow a little bit too quickly. So she wanted me to try and blend her highlights a little bit together, but as well as lighten her previous highlights, but have something that looks really natural. So today I'm going to be doing a new placement, specifically custom catered to her and to her gray pattern. And hopefully this inspires you to try out this placement if you ever have a client who has as much beautiful gray as she does. Alrighty, so I am going to start in the back. And normally I would put a weave right at the hairline, but as you can see here, I left out a whole slice underneath the slice that I'm doing right now, which is basically her hairline. So for this placement, our intentions were to leave her hairline around the back here and wherever she parts her hair out. And by doing that, when she pulls her hair forward, all you see is her actual virgin natural hair gray. But what we're going to be doing in the interior, underneath where she parts her hair, and in the inside behind where her hairline is, we're going to be adding some bright pieces just to make her feel like she is a little bit lighter. So from her previous hairdresser, she didn't get any highlights back here, so I'm just doing a few to brighten it up. You can see it is pretty dark, so I'm just doing slices up the center of the back section after I do 2 slices diagonal back around the nape. And this is just going to break it up, make her feel a little bit lighter, and just blend everything a little bit better since she has a lot more white gray on the very top of her head, and back here it is pretty dark. So we're just trying to kind of match that and essentially create an illusion that the backside here is brighter as well too, because she wanted that also effect where her ends look lighter than the top. And sorry guys, my camera is going in and out of focus, so I apologize for that. So after I sliced the back, you can see I clipped out a section on the top of her head there. So this is where she parts her hair, and this is how much she wanted me to leave out on the top. So everything around that is where we're going to be placing the highlights. So as we lifted that part out and sectioned it out, you can see where her old highlights are. So for her money piece, I'm just going in and I do a very small baby light right at the hairline, and then I do a slice and then do another baby light right after that to create some softness but give her a little bit of boldness as well around her face. So then after that small baby light, I'm going to be taking another baby light but leaving negative space in between that other baby light just to kind of connect and have some sort of gradient from the bolder side towards the back so it blends a little bit. And then as I'm connecting the sides here, I am going to weave the hairline just again to create a little bit of softness and also connect that front money piece to the side. But we're not going to go too bold, so I only did about 1 weave right around the side hairline. And right now I just kind of wiped some lightener that I was trying to test out on the ends there. So after that part, so since again we are leaving out the hairline other than the money piece, I took that slice above the ear, and I would say I took about a 1/2 inch before I took a full slice. And then I'm going to continue taking these slices. I would say I probably left out maybe like 1/2 inch in between the sections. And I'm going to continue taking slices all the way up to that clipped out section that we are intentionally going to leave out. And the reason why we're leaving those pieces out on the top where it's clipped is because she really loves the way her gray pattern already looks at the root. So we're going to leave that. But what she doesn't love is how the ends seem to look darker than the top. So that's why we're adding a lot more lighter pieces throughout the inside and interior of her hair to kind of create that illusion that it kind of goes from dark to light, from roots to ends. And so I will just be doing slices all the way up. So for this technique, since this is going to be a very fast placement, I just used the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf lightener, and I only used 20 volume for the slices and everything that's in the foil. Later on, I'm going to be switching up my bleach because I need something a little bit more gentle to help with the pre-lightened highlights that she already has on her mids and ends. So as I'm doing these slices, I want to make sure that my slices are nice and thin and nice enough see-through so that I get a really clean, even lift. Anything too thick is going to make the lift uneven. So you want to make sure that you take a really good slice so that your hair lifts evenly and perfectly to a level 10. So now that I've done all of the roots, I'm going to be going in, and in between those slices, I'm going to go in and carefully pick out those pieces that are pretty solid as far as her old highlights. And what I'm using is the Pulp-Right Cream Bleach with just 6 volume. So those pieces, I would say they're like about a level 9. So I really don't need anything that's going to be too strong on these pieces. And I do want something that will help lift it slowly. So I decided to just use 6 volume. And then the reason why I chose cream bleach over the Blonde Me is because personally for me, when I am trying to lift one extra level, especially to a level 10 like this, it just makes it so much easier working with a bleach that is white compared to a bleach that is blue. Because sometimes I feel like the blue can play tricks on your eyes. I'm not saying I can't tell when the hair is a level 10 using the blue liner. I'm just saying that using a cream bleach and having a lightener that is white just makes your eyes and everything a lot easier to be able to tell when the hair really is a level 10 as far as lightening it just that one extra level. But if I was trying to lighten it more than just one level, I would definitely use a stronger lightener. And you know, by using the 2 different lighteners, 2 different volumes, everything was pretty much ready at the same time. So even though the roots where we did most of those slices to lift that root part was a bit stronger, and we used a lightener that was really a lot more gentle on those pre-lightened ends, they were pretty much ready at the same exact time. So it's also nice to do different levels and different strength lighteners so that you don't have to waste time going back and forth to the bowl or worrying about wiping it. It's pretty easy and great when the hair lifts all at the same pace, even though you're trying to lift it at different levels. And you know, using different liner and different developer is just something that I've always done, and I feel like is a really helpful thing when you really start to understand the products that you're using and how strong they are and how they work. I feel like it just makes everything a lot easier as you do and customize the products according to your client's hair. So when working with silvers and natural grays like this, the key is in the lift. Like, you can have the most perfect toner, but if you don't lift your client's hair to a level 10, then it won't look as silver as they would like it to. So some of the tips that I would say to look out for, especially if you're using a new lightener. So if you have a lightener that is more blue, I would definitely do like a pinch test, or even like wipe off some of the lightener and see if the hair is truly at a level 10, because if you don't lift them at the right level and you rinse everything off, then you kind of have to relighten them eventually later. So to avoid that extra problem, I would definitely do a like wiping test or pinch test. You can even get a towel, wipe off the lightener to make sure that it's fully lifted to the correct level. So before I tone any of my silver clients, I do like to pre-tone with purple shampoo. My favorite one is the Pulbright Barcelona one, and I just let it sit for about like 3 to 5 minutes, and I feel like that's enough for most clients. I have tried leaving it on longer, and sometimes I run into a bigger mistake because it overtones their hair. So I definitely don't like to leave it on too long, but just enough to where it kind of tones those level 10 pieces and makes it really easy for me to see what's a true level 10 and which pieces need a little bit more time with the toner on it because they're not quite a level 10. And because this is more of like a balayage look, we did slices and she has old highlights. Of course, there are going to be some pieces that are not as white as the others, and that is totally normal, but that is what the purple shampoo is there for, so that you can distinguish which is which and focus the toner more in the areas that are a little bit more yellow opposed to the areas that are more true white. So for her toner, so since we left out that part on the top where she parts her hair out, we're not going to tone that part, but we're going to tone everything around it and all the highlights that we did. So for her blend at the top, I always like to root shadow no matter what. We did a Liquid Demi 6-1, which is a level 6 ash. And then for the mids and ends, because she lifted so well, we're not fighting too much yellow. My formulation is actually going to be the Pulbright Rapid Toners, and I did a mixture of silver, icy, and moonstone to create a very like pearlescent white type of toner with the slightest hue of violet. Alrighty guys, so here is the end result. I was absolutely obsessed with this color. You can see how everything blends so well. Even that front money piece, just like so seamless and looks so natural. When we were done like blow drying her hair, we couldn't get over how natural her hair looked, and she wanted to leave with her hair straight because she told me she wanted to see how good of a blend it was. And honestly, we couldn't even really distinguish where her highlights were versus her natural hair, and I feel like that's what makes a great blending transformation the best, is when you can't even tell that they colored their hair. And that's the whole point, is to make it look super natural and have it blend right in with her natural hair color. The other thing that I wanted to note was that I love this placement that we did, leaving that veil on the top where all virgin and coloring everything around it and underneath it, and then also leaving out the hairline was so key with this transformation into making it look so natural. And I highly recommend doing that if you have a client who has much gray as she does, because I feel like it just makes it 1,000 times more natural by using their natural gray as more of that root and then blending it into the highlights on the underneath. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.